Welcome to All About Hopkinton. I'm Mary Arnott, your host. All About Hopkinton is a show that explores the people, organizations, and events that make Hopkinton an inviting and exciting place to live. On this episode, I will be talking with our Public Library Director, Nanci Hill. If you haven't been to the library recently, you are missing out on one of our town's magical places. Our library is so much more than books. Nanci's here to give us an overview of all the services and the offerings that she and her team provide. So let's get started on this journey through an enchanting place we call Hopkinton's Public Library. Welcome, Nanci.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I'm so glad that you are. There's so many things to talk about that are going on at the library these days, and I'm anxious to jump into all of that. But I'd like to hear a little bit about you first. I know this is going on your second anniversary, I believe, as our director. So why don't you share a little bit about your background and who you are?
Sure. Personally, I'm from Gloucester originally. My family is all still there. I have one 32-year-old daughter who teaches in Danvers. Very proud of her. I came to librarianship a little bit later in life. I was 35, 36 by the time I got my degree from Simmons in library science. And one of the things that I feel really accomplished about, and one of the things I think that makes me a good fit as a library director and here in Hopkinton, is that I've worked in almost every department in a public library. So I actually started out in school libraries, elementary school libraries, got my degree and moved to public libraries, and I started out as a young adult librarian. And then several years later, I moved on to adult services, both in reference and in programming. And then I became the director of a very small public library in Georgetown, Massachusetts, and then moved on to become the assistant director in Wakefield, which was a bigger community. And then I was the assistant director in Lexington. And then I moved on to becoming a director again of larger public libraries. So I've been the library director in Boxford, Massachusetts, and in Dracut, Massachusetts. That's where I've come from most recently. I was there for 9 years, and then I was thrilled to have the opportunity to come to Hopkinton.
Well, you're much too young looking to have all those years of experience behind you, so I don't know how you do it, but it's showing too in the programs and things that you've brought to Hopkinton and what's going on there now. I am just amazed at how many new things we have and so much is going on. Would you like to start telling us about some of the newer programs and offerings?
Sure, and I want to say up front that all of the new offerings that we're able to bring to the folks in Hopkinton are really a credit to my staff. I have a fabulous staff who are very dedicated to the library and to the folks in Hopkinton, and are always looking for ways to bring new services to folks.
I can attest to that. They're always so helpful when I go in there.
That's great to hear.
And on the phone or any other way. So
I guess the most exciting and most recent thing is that we've started Sunday hours. Folks have been asking for Sunday hours for a long time, and so we're thrilled to be able to start offering those hours. So we're open Sundays now from 12 to 4. We will not be open Sundays from Memorial Day through Labor Day, so through the summer we will not be open on Sundays. But we are open Sundays the rest of the year, and so far it's been really well received. We're very busy on Sundays. Folks come in and are just so appreciative of the fact that they have a place to come to either sit and quietly work or read or participate in a program. And I've heard back from so many folks that are really thrilled that we're there now. So that's, I think, probably the most exciting thing.
I'm glad the hours are noon to 4.
Yes, yes.
I think that's perfect for a Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. It gets, everybody who goes to religious services are generally done by then. Folks who like to sleep in don't have to worry about it.
You're reading my mind, yeah.
We do see a lot of teens on Sundays, and as we know, teens like to sleep in as often as they can. So, yeah, I think the hours are just perfect. But, we will reassess after a year and see how things have been working, how many folks are using us, that sort of thing.
And what other new programs and things do you have? I noticed something on the shelves the other day when I was there.
You're talking about our Lucky Day collection.
Lucky Day collection.
Lucky Day collection. It's your lucky day. We have started a new collection of high interest titles. The most popular authors. We do have circulating copies of all the titles in our Lucky Day collection, but our Lucky Day collection cannot be put on a holds list. So you can't reserve those titles. The idea is you walk into the library, you may have a book that you've had on hold and you are number 56 and there are 352 people on the wait list, and it's going to be a long time before you get that title, but you walk into the library and there's a copy of it on the shelf that you can check out. The circulation time is a little shorter. It's for 2 weeks because we want people to be able to come in and find those titles. So it's just been debuted, and so far it's been wonderful for folks. I've had folks come to me and say, oh my God, I just found the new Nora Roberts on the Lucky Day shelf, and I never thought I was going to get my name up on the list. I'm so far low on the list, so I was able to cancel that hold, and now I have a copy. So yeah, that's one of the lucky things that are happening. And another lucky day sort of thing that I think has happened, we've noticed that the holds lists, particularly on electronic copies, either ebooks or downloadable audio, the holds lists are very long, and the average wait time is 67 days. And we want to get those materials into the hands of our patrons as quickly as we can so that they don't need to wait all that long. And so another thing that we've done is we've added the Hoopla service. And if you're not familiar with Hoopla, Hoopla is a platform that offers ebooks, downloadable audiobooks, magazines, and movies, television series. And so each patron gets 6 downloads per month, but there is no wait time for any title. It's simultaneous use. So,
and no cost for that?
And well, there's a cost to the library, obviously, but no cost to our patrons. And so that's a fabulous service as well. You have a hankering to read something, you get onto Hoopla, and you get to download it right away and read the book or watch the movie that you're interested in. Hoopla also has something called binge passes. So each month there are different binge passes. So this month, for example, if you are into all of those Hallmark Christmas movies, there's a Hallmark binge pass.
They're coming up.
They're coming up. So, and they're not all Christmas movies, but if you're really into those, there is a Hallmark binge pass. So you can check out the Hallmark binge pass, which will offer you access to 26, 27 titles for only one of your monthly downloads. Doesn't count as 26, it just counts as one.
Wow, 26 for one, I like that.
Yeah, we like that. And then something else that Hoopla does is at the end of every month, they give free access to certain titles and films, magazines, where you can download those titles. They don't count towards one of your 6. But also the library does not get charged for those. So there's sort of a win-win. So we're really excited about that as well.
I have checked that out. I have to say, I didn't know about that one.
Yeah.
I do have a book club at the Senior Center that I run once a month. First Wednesday of the month, 10:30, folks, if you want to come on over. And some of the folks like to have the ebooks. I still like holding on to my hard copy. So I do want to still put a plug in that I've gone in sometimes and maybe the copy wasn't immediately available. They put a hold on for me, and within, I would say, less than a week most of the time, less than 5 business days, I get this little email that says, your book's come in.
Right.
And today you brought 3 that I had asked for.
We are part of the CW Mars Consortium, which is over 100 libraries, public, academic. And so if you are interested in borrowing something that we don't have, usually we can get it for you from another library, and if there aren't holes on it, it comes right away. But even if there are holes on it, we can place a hold on it for you. As soon as it becomes available, we'll get it into your hands.
It's always worked very well with me, so thank you very much for that.
Sure.
So Nancy, there are lots of other things that go on in the library, like I have mentioned, besides getting good books. And would you like to talk about some of the other programs? I know there are guest speakers, and there's these little sub-libraries I found out about. Seed Library and Things Library. So
Right.
Where would you like
Right.
to go now?
So we have, as you mentioned, the library is so much more than a warehouse for books these days. It's also a community center, and there are so many fun and interesting things available at your public library, at our public library as well. We have a library of things, for example, which is a collection of non-traditional items, library items, that you can borrow from the library, such as a guitar, or a weaving loom, binoculars, and we're adding to that collection all the time. And so, you know, by all means, check it out. We have hotspots, for example, as part of our library of things. By all means, check out what we have available. You can check that out on our website online, but realize that we're always adding things to it.
In fact, you got something very special recently.
We did. We just added, we were the recipient of a Library Services and Technology Act grant administered through the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners, a $20,000 grant to improve access for everyone to the library and to its surroundings. And as part of that grant, we purchased a Grit Freedom chair, wheelchair, which is an all-terrain wheelchair, so that folks who are experiencing physical disabilities can come. You can check out the wheelchair. It fits really easy in the back of any car. It folds up. And then they can experience all of the wonderful trails here in Hopkinton. It can go onto the beach in the summertime, and so we're really excited for folks to start checking that out as well.
Oh, that is an exciting addition. I hope people will watch this and find out about it.
Yeah. So that's our library of things, and another thing that we have is the Seed Library. We started that this summer. Allison Keeney, our circulation supervisor, started that this summer, where and the Garden Club here in Hopkinton helped to sponsor that as well, where folks could come and check seeds out of the library, start their own gardens. We had vegetables, we had flowers, and it was a huge success. I think we had something like 100 seed packets checked out in the first day.
Well, when you say checked out, they don't have to return them,
They don't have to return them, no.
They're
we don't want them returned.
Yes.
Yeah, they're planting them. So we call it checked out because it counts for us as a circulation. But yes, so the Seed Library is something that we were very excited about. It was very successful, and we will be doing that again this coming summer.
So people can come in and see what fruits and vegetables and things they want to try planting at home.
Yes. And if you checked out one of our seeds this past summer, please share with us any photos of what you grew. because we would love to see that as well.
Oh, wonderful. Maybe you can put a couple up on the website. I don't have much of a green thumb, so I will not be partaking in the seed
But
library.
I will be honest, I have what they call a black thumb.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't do any planting.
Yeah, I don't. But I'll continue to seed my mind with great books that I read.
Yeah. And something that we are working on that is not yet ready to debut, probably mid-year next year, is a makerspace. And so we are going to be converting the downstairs classroom into a makerspace. It will have things like sewing machines, a long arm quilting machine. We will have technology so that you can create your own podcast, where we will be soundproofing one of our quiet study rooms so people can go into there, record their podcast, return the equipment.
Very nice.
We'll be doing classes in there. It'll be open some hours for folks to just come in and work on their own projects. And so we're very excited about that. We've been visiting other libraries that have maker spaces. We did a survey recently asking folks what sort of items they'd be interested in having there. One of the things that folks were asking for that we're hoping to be able to provide is a poster size photocopier, so that folks can create their own posters at the library as well.
Yeah, I did notice on the website that people can go in and make photocopies and use the printers and everything for free.
For free, yeah.
That's very
We
nice.
recently got rid of, as you know, probably, well, I'm sure you know, we got rid of our fines before I came, fines on materials, but we were still charging for photocopying and printing. And we really wanted to eliminate any barriers to folks being able to use the service, and so we were able to get rid of the price for folks to use those services as well. So,
Well,
free.
I'll say it so you don't have to, but please don't take advantage of that, folks. I mean,
Yeah.
keep it within limits.
Yeah, we don't want you to come in and do a 100-page copy, but
Yeah.
you know, folks who use a service and are interested can always make a donation, and folks have been doing that, which we really appreciate. That helps us purchase copy paper.
And on some of these maker spaces, do they have to reserve them ahead of time? Is there a schedule?
There will be a schedule. There will be a schedule of I should say, it will be for 14 or older,
Okay.
due to the liability of equipment that will be used in the space. So it's more of an adult area. But we will be offering specific classes that folks will have to register for to attend, and then we'll have open hours where folks can just pop in without a reservation and use the space.
Okay, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just thinking because I think the podcast stuff will be really exciting and very popular with certain people.
Yes, I'm
And we
sure
don't
it
want
will.
just one person dominating the
No,
whole
and that
thing.
will actually, the space where that's going to take place is one of our quiet study rooms, which you can only book for 2 hours at a time, and you do book it ahead of time. So, and there are limits to how many times you can do it in a week to make sure that folks aren't monopolizing the space.
So just briefly, because all of this stuff is just so exciting and wonderful, a little bit about the organization, different departments, different programs.
Sure. Yeah, so we have an adult service area, which is our reference area on the lower level. Those folks are in charge of collection development of our adult fiction and our adult nonfiction collection, the Lucky Day collection. And then we have a YA space, which is for teens, grade 6 through emerging adults.
Oh, you said YA as in young adults.
As
Okay,
a young
gotcha.
adult, yeah.
Okay.
Library lingo.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
I
as a
just
young
want to make
adult.
sure I heard it right.
So Jess, who's our young adult librarian, does programming and collection development for that area. She just started an emerging adult collection right outside of the area, which is books for those who are in college or out of college, but they're still not quite adults yet, or these books have characters their age or situations that folks that age you're dealing with. So that's a new collection. Our children's room, which everyone knows about, it's a fabulous, fabulous,
Very popular, I imagine.
very popular area, and they do an unimaginable amount of programming. I honestly don't know how they do it, but they do story times, they do chess, they do come and read to a pet, to a dog, a service dog. Recently, as part of our grant, our children's services supervisor purchased sensory items that have been installed. So things that on the wall that kids can crank or use buttons with. She got some sensory items for her sensory story times that she does for folks that need a smaller group or dimmed lighting and texturalized things. So yeah, they're great. We also have a technical services department, which is the department that does the cataloging of all of our materials, which is a huge task, as you can imagine. The library is governed by a board of library trustees. They are elected. There are 5 members of the board of trustees, and they're responsible for library policy. They're also very involved in promoting the needs of the library, not only in Hopkinton, but within the state. We have a fabulous Friends group that provides funding for almost all of our programs. We don't have a program line item in the town budget. Our Friends pay for that. Our Friends also pay, by the way, for our adventure passes, museum passes.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. I forgot to talk about the passes.
Which are free to everyone.
And there's so many of them.
And there are so many of them.
Check them out on the website.
Yeah, and then we also have a library foundation, and the foundation was responsible for raising $1 million to build the library. Towards building the library. But now that the library is built, they have transitioned into helping us pay for things that are outside of our library budget. Most recently, they provided the funding for our half-day gaming program that has been so popular, with 80 teens at least using that program on half days. And they also provided funding for our new coffee house program, which brings musicians and dancers to the library at least once a month, which has also been very popular. So we all sort of work together. I answer to the town manager as well. And so all these moving pieces work together to provide library services to the community.
They do, and they do so well. And Nanci, like I said, there's so many programs at the library, even cultural programs, which are a wonderful addition because of the way our town is changing with its diversity and different cultures. And it's wonderful to see sometimes you go in and there in the main library might be a display of some sort and books inviting you to learn about different cultures. I was really appreciative of that one when I saw it. And then also, too, sometimes it goes through my mind. I remember I've been in town quite a few years, and I remember when the library was much smaller before its beautiful addition, even though that's been around for a while. And it just seems like we're going to run out of space again, because every time I walk in there, there's so many more new books and offerings, and I think, oh my gosh, I hope we don't run out of space again.
Yeah, we are very tight on space. But the staff has done a great job being creative about how we use that space, so that we can provide maximum programming and materials.
Yeah, and you do have the book sales sometimes that help get rid of some of the maybe older or less popular items, and you know.
We do. The Friends run that book sale. Their big annual book sale is one of their biggest fundraisers, and all of that money comes back to the library in the form of adventure passes and programming.
Yeah, I know it's a very popular activity with me. I bring, get a bag and fill it up and walk out with all that good stuff to read. Well, believe it or not, we are almost out of time. The half hour goes so fast. Are there any last minute thoughts about programs we haven't highlighted or things you want to mention?
Oh, gee. I guess I should mention the fact that Dan Boudreau, our adult services librarian, wrote and received a grant of $6,000 for preservation assessment of our local history collection. We do have a small local history room, and the assessment told us some things that we already knew, like the temperature and humidity in the room is not optimal for historical materials, and some things that we didn't know. So it's a great tool for us to move forward. Dan is very interested in making our local history space a place that folks can come to when looking for historical information, genealogical information. And our circulation supervisor, Allison Keeney, recently offered a genealogy workshop. So we'll be doing more of those in the future.
And I do know that you and the Historical Society and the History Center sometimes coordinate programs to keep our history alive in Hopkinton, and that's a wonderful program as well, that coordination and getting things out there for folks. So, yeah. Oh, all good stuff. I'm sure there's going to be more in the future for us to talk about. And
there
I look
will be lots
to you
more.
coming back on the program. And in the meantime, I really encourage folks to get down to the library. And if you can't get down there, check out things on the website, because you can always order books over the website, or programs or passes. There's just so much. I mean, I spend a little bit of time looking at the website now and then,
If you haven't already signed up, sign up for our newsletter online.
Yes.
That'll give you a lot of
I haven't signed up, but I have read them, interestingly enough.
They are on our website. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here today, Nanci.
Thanks so much for having me.
And thank you to our viewers for tuning in to All About Hopkinton. Watch for future episodes when HCAM team and I will bring you some more stories about our community. We also welcome your suggestions for future shows. For more information, visit hcam.tv. Until next time, I'm Mary Arnott. See you around Hopkinton.